Welcome to Kung Fu Habit number 2. I will probably make more videos tonight, but I'm not going to swear to it, but I want to talk about martial arts. Now, as I said in the other video at the ass end, because it's like I just walked straight into this video from there. So at the ass end of the last video, I was talking about how we all have a little bit of fear when we go into a fight, and how a lot of people think that the fight in their head is going to be how a fight works in actuality when it doesn't. And the thing about that is, I also said this is why a lot of martial artists don't follow me, is because I'm going to drop the fucking truth bomb and nobody wants to hear that shit. Well, here's the thing. That little bit of knowledge you don't want to hear could be that little bit of knowledge that could save your ass, you know. This is a brush to most people. It is a weapon to me. You know, placed properly in the right spots, this thing can unalive anybody, and I don't have to try that hard. I just got to get through your defenses to do damage. Same thing with this comb. And even this quarter, I just got to be able to get through your defenses to get through it. I can tell you what I want to do all damn day long. The reality is, you're not going to let that shit happen. Can you stop it? Yes. Unless I catch you sleeping. If I know what I'm doing and you know what you're doing, the fight's going to be fucking awesome. And it's probably going to go the whole 5 minutes, depending on our cardio. If it's a fight where I know what I'm doing and you don't, you can still beat me, because that lucky punch, it is a thing. You can still beat me because I could fuck up. No. You can still beat me because I might have forgot what the fuck I was trying to do. Which is why when you go into a fight, you don't have a plan. You have one plan. I know that sounds redundant, but you do have one plan. It's called survival. You can always tell the difference between someone who fights for survival versus somebody who fights for victory. Alright? Most of us people who fight for survival, we will do our best to not get into a fight. Alright? Most of us. I have been one of those people that, you know, I just want to test my skills to see if I can handle this motherfucker. And most of the motherfuckers who fight for a victory, they want that clout, and they want to go on, they want to throw shit in people's faces and brag about it. And I'm going to say this posthumously, because I've said this before. I meant it when I said it then. I mean it when I say it now. If we get into a fight and you beat my ass, it's cool. I lost. We get into a fight and you beat my ass, and you're posting all that shit on social media, and you whooping my ass all over social media, and you're telling everybody how bad I sucked and all this shit. When that rematch happens, and it's going to happen unless you're running from me, which you will be, you're going to wish you never met me. You're going to wish little things like this didn't exist. Because as bad as you whoop my ass, the ass whooping that you're going to get from the karma that I'm going to bring, it's going to be 10 times worse. The difference maker is that after I beat you, I'm not going to be out there bragging at how I got revenge. If I'm out there doing anything, I'm going to be out there and say, yo, I'm sorry. I really didn't want to have to do this to this dude. But had he not started bragging about how he whooped my ass this and whooped my ass that and posted it all over the internet, no, this wouldn't have been a problem. He posted it all over the internet. I done got the ass kicking of a lifetime, and it went viral. This motherfucker walking all over town, just telling everybody he beat the fuck out of Echo Fang Grey Wolf. Just beat me to pieces. Smiling in my face. Got my whole family laughing at me. Oh, don't worry. You're gonna survive. You won't ever fight again, but you're going to survive. I promise you, I am not going to kill you. Because what's left of you is going to wish that I killed you. You will be crippled from the neck down. I'm just putting that out there. You will be crippled from the neck down. I'm not going to be playing with you this time around. See, you beat my ass and you got that victory and you start telling everybody. Cool. Everybody started pressuring me and started getting on my nerve, forcing me to seek vengeance. And now that I had to go seek vengeance, I'm going to make sure that you and everybody you know can't seek vengeance. You know why? Because I'm going to break you down so goddamn bad that they're not even going to give it a second thought. Like, nah, man, you know, you kind of had that shit coming. You should have left that little motherfucker alone. You beat his ass, and he was more than willing to let it go. 2 things happened. First, you recorded it, and you posted it. Second, you kicked him while he was down. And now, He broke your elbows, your kneecaps, and your motherfucking spine. You now have to drive your vehicle with a straw because you decided that you was going to post all that shit on the internet. You decided you was going to run around the entire town bragging about that shit. I can take an ass whooping and lose gracefully. Well, two things that you're not going to do. One, you're not going to post that ass whooping on the internet because that's there for life. Two, I'm going to find you. And when I find you, I'm going to remember everything you did in that video because no one's going to let me live it down. Ever. And when they find you, and they will, because I'm going to do it in a place where everybody will find you, you will survive. But you will never be the same again. You might still be able to talk when I'm done. But I promise you, this shit right here, all of that, it's done. You will be in diapers when I'm done. And to everybody watching, and everybody doubting it, I'm going to say this one final time. I send warnings, not invitations. So don't come to my house because you seen this video thinking you're going to come down here and thump Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Because that's not how that shit's going to work. You come to Echo Fan Grey Wolf's house, you're not going home the same way you got there. If you go home at all. Trespassing is illegal. Assault is illegal. I do not know if Virginia has a stand your ground law, and I don't give a fuck. You come at me at any place, anywhere, anytime. You're not going home. You're going home alive. How you choose to go is going to be on you. If this comb is in my hand, you're going to have a gash across your throat, so you might survive. Might stab this up your nose or up your ass. One way or another, this is going home with you. Same thing with this, and same thing with anything else in my hand. None of it would have had to happen if you didn't come at me. Or none of it didn't have to happen if you didn't think you were the baddest motherfucker on the planet and decided, I'm going to go swing by this house and see if this motherfucker is full of shit or if he knows his shit. Sometimes it's best to just not know. Because that person on the other end of this line, you don't know what they've been through in life. You don't know if they're telling you the truth or if you're telling them a lie. I straight tell everybody on this damn YouTube channel, I give you 99.9. Sometimes I give you the whole 1,000. My feelings for Zeta Zhang, whole 1,000. How I feel about Kung Fu, whole 1,000. How I feel about racism, whole 1,000. How I feel about Donald Trump, whole 1,000. But important shit that I don't think you can take, 99.9. You're still going to get the truth. But I'm going to word that shit. I'm going to sugarcoat that shit as best as I can so that you don't go throw yourself off a cliff. Alright? Now understand, fights don't work like they do in the movies. Understand that shit. Fights do work like they do in UFC. Fights do work like they do on bum fights. But they do not work like you have them in your head. They don't work like you in the movies and you see Van Damme doing some shit. You see Chuck Norris doing some shit. Now Chuck and Van Damme are both real martial artists. Stuntmen are really good too at taking those blows and getting back up. But in real life, you're not fighting a stuntman. You're fighting someone who is equally as good as you or have the potential to be better than you or are better than you. And they are going to hurt you severely. And again, this is why motherfuckers that do martial arts don't follow me. Because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you about that shit. Motherfucker, getting hurt, getting kicked in the face, getting punched, that shit fucking hurts. I don't give a damn how big you are. If I hit you and it don't hurt you, I got to work harder. Or I got to fight smarter. I already know going into a fight what my weaknesses are. Alright? And my weaknesses only count to me if I allow them to count. Everybody's bigger than me. I'm 5'3.5". Everybody's stronger than me. I can't lift weights anymore. I had a hip replacement. But that does not mean they are better at fighting than me. I've been fighting since I was 6 years old. I know my way around a fight. Access TV. I know my way around a fight. Alright? And like it or not, I might not be the baddest motherfucker on the planet. But I ain't not one of the baddest. You know? Or as the Undertaker says, I ain't bad. But the bad don't fuck with me. Alright? And I've always lived by this code of honor that if you don't fuck with me, I'm not gonna fuck with you. Or the newer translation from my generation was, if you don't start none, it won't be none, and no one has to die. However, there's always some people who let their pride lead them to the hospital. Alright? And when your pride leads you to the hospital, you really can't really blame anybody but you. Well, that's just fantastic. Guess I will be watching Monday Night Raw. Celebrity Family Feud. Sorry, y'all. I'm still here. Anyway, the bottom line is this. If you pick a fight, you better know how to fight. If you don't know how to fight, you should probably not pick a fight. And understand, I am a martial artist first. I was a street fighter before that. I'm an actor as well as all those things. But I was those things before I got into acting. Alright? And understand something, and understand it well. The only reason why nobody knows me outside of the 280 plus of you who do is because no one would give me a chance to shine bright like a diamond. No one would give me that chance. You 280 plus are all I have. That even gives me 5 minutes of your time. Even if you don't watch the whole video, you're giving me 5 minutes of your time. And I'm forever grateful for that. But a lot of people don't even know how to be grateful. Which is another thing, you know. If you're going to get into a fight, you need to be very well aware of when to get the fuck out the fight. If you beat a person and they go unconscious, it's over. You don't need to add the extra sauce by kicking them while they're down. You don't need to do that. There's no honor in that. Which is why I said, if you beat my ass and post it and you kick me while I'm down, the main reason why I'm coming, not because you beat my ass and posted it, but because you kicked me while I was unconscious and couldn't defend myself. You could have done irreprehensible damages to me. And I know going into a fight, there's a high probability I'm going to lose. There's a high probability I'm going to win. No one knows the outcome of a fight until the fight is done. So just because you've beaten 5 individuals, does not mean you're going to beat that 6th individual. That 6th individual might be that guy that has your number. That 6th individual might be that guy that you fucked up. Or you might have pissed off to the highest point of festivity where, you know, the gloves are off. Motherfucker's not playing anymore, and he's out to destroy your shit. And this is the thing people don't understand about fights. Alright? Fights don't work like they do in the movies. Fights work where both people have an altercation verbally, and then it turns physical. Sometimes the guy that gets the sucker punch is the guy that wins the fight. You know, you sucker punch me. Okay. If that shit don't knock me slam the fuck out, you just open up a world of problems. Or maybe you sucker punch me into one hitter quitter. Knock my ass slam the fuck out. Happens. It's never happened to me, but it can happen. Never think that it can't. The second that you think you can't beat somebody, then you are invincible. I can beat everybody. That's going to be that day that you're going to find out that you are a human being. And that you, just like me, just like everybody else, can be beaten. Now, here's the difference between you and me and everybody else. I also have another rule. And I usually keep this rule to myself. Which is the main reason why I tell people I send warnings, not invitations. If I have to fight you, I'm fighting to kill you. I'm not fighting to hurt you. I'm not fighting for a W. I am a very small man. I stand 130 pounds, which means I'm actually 5 pounds overweight from my hip replacement. And I stand at 5'3.5". If I'm going to fight you, I have one goal. Every hit is going to hit you with bad intentions. That's it. And I'm going to hit you quick, fast, and continuously until you fucking drop. Knowing how to fight and thinking you can fight are two different things. Which is another reason why most martial artists don't follow me. It's another reason why a lot of people who have schools have told me, get out. You are hardcore. Am I though? Ask yourself this. If you made it to the almost 15-minute mark. Ask yourself this. If you are a martial artist, ask yourself this. And then if you choose to no longer follow me, respect. But ask yourself this. You paid 200 and some change a month to learn how to punch and kick people. And in some cases, maybe it's $150 a month. And in some cases, maybe it's like $500 for the year. You know whatever contract you sign is the contract that you can afford. Like maybe it's $75 a month, and maybe they have enough people who actually can afford the higher contract to balance it all out. And that $75 covers your gi plus lessons. All right, which is why I generally think the lowest I've ever paid was like $145. When I was with Mr. Ennis, it was $250 until my bills got behind, and then he was like, "Okay, we'll work with $175." And so I gave him $175, and then the bills got even higher, and then I just had to quit. So, or anything in any style I've taken, but let me be honest. That belt's false courage, and it just holds up your hand, and I mean your belt, I mean your pants, because when you think about it, and this is the part that you need to ask yourself: can I fight with this shit outside of a dojo? Have I been trained proficiently enough that I can walk down this motherfucking street, or I can walk down any street in America and fight one or two guys at the same time and be like the movies but real life? Because if you can't, you already know it. Ask yourself, if I can break this board or this block, and I do that in the street, will I impress people or will I make myself a target? Then ask yourself, have I been told how to throw a punch properly so that I don't break my fucking hand when I'm throwing a punch? Because there is a way that you can throw a punch and break your fucking hand. And again, if you are not taught that, you're gonna fuck around and find out. You will find out. So the choice is yours to make. Can I do this? So every time I've gone into a dojo to ask about stuff, the first thing I ask them is, what is your belt testing qualifications? And unless it's been a Kung Fu dojo, which Kung Fu dojos, they don't do belts in Kung Fu. They do sashes, 9 times out of 10. There's a little bit of extra to it, but it's not like a major league milestone where, like, when you do Taekwondo, you got to cut through all these motherfucking belts and you got to keep going. And it's like, if Taekwondo really wants to slow you down, they'll slow you down at green. Like, you got white belt, and then, depending on the school, you got to go to 7th-degree white before you can get a 1st-degree yellow. And this is a repeated cycle until you get to black. And then black, I think it stops at 7th or 5th degree, and then you're senior sensei or some shit like that. I don't really know how that works, but just go with that. By the time you get through all that shit, you put that work in. But can you fight? Alright? And this is a question that a lot of martial artists don't ask themselves. Can I fight? Alright? It has given me confidence, and these belts have given me confidence. But can I legitimately fight? I've never been in a fight before. I've learned how to kick. I've learned how to punch. I have not been told that I'm going to be afraid to fight. I have not been told that I'm going to be afraid of what I can do. I have not been told that I'm going to be afraid if I can't take a hit back. Because they don't really hit you back in school. They really don't. Unless you guys are doing pewds, or unless you guys having the armor on. 9 times out of 10, when you're sparring, it's tit for tat. It's little taps, little taps, little taps. And if you have not ever actually been in a fight where this stuff can be applied, can you fight? And you need to ask yourself that as a martial artist. Because you could be a martial artist all day. You can have every fucking belt, every degree, all the weapons training in the fucking world, and still walk right out that goddamn door and bump into somebody like me, who does not have a belt, but can fight, has learned martial arts for all good and evil purposes, and beat your ass. I spring off trees, I spring off poles, I use trees and poles as a defense mechanism. There's a lot of shit that I know that they just don't fucking teach you in schools. But most importantly, the one thing that you need to know, can you fight? And a lot of people, oh, well, don't follow Echo Fan Grey Wolf because he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Do I know? Because if you're hitting here and you're taking martial art classes 5, 10, 20 fucking years, and you've never been in a fight, and I'm not talking about tournaments, I'm talking about in actual fucking combat, can you fight? Should be the one thing that's always in your head, because that's gonna ground you. You know, yeah, I win tournaments. I got a black belt. I win tournaments. I'm real good with my tournaments. But there's something that a lot of martial artists are not telling y'all. And this is probably one of the most important things you're ever going to get from me. And you don't have to listen. You don't have to believe me. But I'm the only one that's going to tell you the truth. How you train is how you fight. Alright? And a lot of people don't understand that concept. When you're hitting Bob, they tell you, okay, you can hit Bob as hard as you want. Okay, that's fine, as long as you're wearing gloves. But Bob is not a real person. Bob cannot defend himself. Bob's number one job is to take punches and kicks for you, because that's what Bob does for a living. A real person is going to block those punches and kicks, and they are going to hit you back. And it's not going to be soft. It's going to be hard as fuck. And if you can't take a hit as good as you can deliver a hit, well, you're going to take a nap. If you are not a professional fighter, if you're not in the UFC, if you're not a wrestler, if you're not a boxer, then you should be asking yourself, especially if you're not even a street fighter, you should be asking yourself, can I fight? Remember my 70-30 rule. 70% of what you learn is only good in that dojo. 30% is only good in the street. I'm that guy. I'm the exception, not the rule. Everything that I know how to do came from the streets and the dojo, and I have learned how to combine them. Now you gotta learn how to use your environment. They don't teach you that in the dojo because you have 4 walls and some mirrors. That's it. 4 walls, you have some pillars in there to hold the back fucking building up. But are they training you how to use those pillars? And I'm not talking Captain America spring off the poles, because I do that. But I'm talking in general. Are they training you to use your environment? Because 9 times out of 10 in the dojo, your shoes are off. Are they teaching you target spotting, like step on their fucking base of their foot? I know, you probably have no idea what the fuck that is. So, instep, base of the foot. Are they teaching you how to use that? Are they teaching you how to throw a Kempo block punch or a knuckle strike? Boom! And the target, which is your metacarpals. Boom! You know, somebody's throwing a jab. Boom! You know, are you going to be fast enough to boom? Or you're going to have to block that shit. You're going to have to know these things, because combat outside the dojo is not combat in the dojo. Combat in the dojo, you're tit-tapping. That's it. Combat outside the dojo, people are trying to hit you with bad intentions, and they're trying to hit you with every fucking thing they've got. They are not going to show you mercy. So when you get off this video, you need to think long and hard, and you need to ask yourself, can I fight? Now, if you've never been in a fight, you're not going to know until you get into one. If you've been in enough fights, you're going to know, I can fight enough, I can fight a little, I can fight really well, or I can't fight at all. And you're going to learn that shit. And battle stories will write themselves. You can never go into a fight expecting to win. You must go into every fight expecting to survive. If you go into a fight thinking, oh, I got a black belt, I can beat this guy. I got a black belt, I can beat this guy. You don't know what that guy's got. You don't know if that guy studied a different style. You don't know shit. What you do know is that when you go in there, guards are at the ready. Let nature take its course. Everything else is paramount. Yeah, you got a black belt. Big fucking deal. I got a brown belt. It holds up my pants. It also has a buckle on it that just turned it into a pair of nunchucks or a swinging mace. So I don't have to beat you to kill you, which is my third motto, which I might have missed saying that a few minutes ago, but that's what I meant to say way back when I said fights don't work like they do on TV. I don't have to beat you to kill you. I never claimed I can beat everybody, but I can kill everybody without even trying, because I know what the fuck I'm doing. The only problem in a fight that I have to worry about is your skill level, your skill set. If you run around bragging, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I got a black belt, I can do this, okay, you just keep on talking. When that fight happens, and you're crawling home and your teeth are gone, or you wake up in the hospital and both your arms and shit are broken, you're going to reevaluate your shit. And you're going to be saying, you know what, Echo Van Greywood was right. This black belt does not mean I can fight. It just means that I'm good enough to get a piece of material to hold my pants up while I am in class. I'm going to say this respectfully. I'm going to piss off a lot of martial artists. I'm going to pick off a lot of people who aren't martial artists. And to you all, that's a you problem. You don't want the truth, that's a you problem. You come to the wrong place. This is the whole 1000. Just because a person has a black belt, does not mean they can't get their ass kicked. Just because a person is a professional fighter, does not mean they can't get their ass kicked. Understand that shit. No one controls the outcome of a fight but the fight itself. At the end of the fight, whoever's left standing, it's what's going to control it. Now, if you're in the UFC, we all know how this works. If you're in any professional fighting outside of wrestling, we all know how this works. 3 5-minute rounds. Weight class is a thing. Height they don't really give a fuck about. But weight class, skill level. If you are 5-0-0, 5 wins, no loses, no KOs or no draws, none of that shit, then you know you got some skills. Alright? And I'm putting it to you that way. You know you got some skills. And you got to go in against a guy who's 5 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws. Now, that 1 loss, that might have been you in a previous fight. Or it was somebody else that you might have known, who may have given you intel on how to fight this guy. But since that guy lost, he's upped his game. I promise you, he's upped his game. He's upped his cardio. He's upped whatever he was lacking in that fight before. He's upped that shit. If it's cardio, you better believe he stopped lifting weights and he started doing cardio shit. Running 2 miles a day. He started working on his endurance, working on his cardio. These are very important things in a fight. They don't tell you that shit, but you need to talk to more UFC people. They will tell you, yo, your skill levels is great, but if you're not working on the extra shit, like your cardio, your endurance, your durability, you might as well just throw your towel in now. Because if you only can go 1 round and you gas by the middle of that round, you're going to sleep. You're going to slam the fuck to sleep. Now, the reason why I said wrestling is because, unfortunately, wrestling is preordained. Alright? If I was a wrestler, I would be a jobber. I would lose every fight. I would be Rocky King, especially at my age now, because I don't have good looks. I have great hair, though. But I don't have good looks. I may have great skills. And a lot of people don't understand how wrestling actually works. Generally, the superstars are okay. It's those motherfucking jobbers that know how to sell the battle that are better than the superstars. The superstars get all the money. The jobbers should be getting more of the money. The superstars get pushed over by the jobbers. Alright? And once you're pushed over, jobbers rarely get pushed over. Alright? Jobbers rarely get pushed over. So it's very rare that a jobber gets pushed over. Rocky King never got pushed over. He won 1 match that I can remember, and was with the worst move that ever existed called the Sunset Flip. Shout out to Rocky King. But the point being made, he was a jobber. He took beatings. Now, you can't say that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was a jobber because him and Ric Flair and their battles. You can't say Sting was a jobber because of their battles. But the ones that you don't remember, the names you can't remember, those are the jobbers. And those jobbers make guys like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ric Flair, Sting, Edge, and all those new guys that you just, like, guy comes in a pair of trunks, you have no idea, and you got, like, my boy Ryback, he's picking up, like, 4 dudes on his back and shit, body slamming. Those 4 guys that he body slam, they're jobbers. They're happy that they're working in wrestling, but they're jobbers, which is why you can find them on almost any wrestling. They're free agents, but they're jobbers, and it's why wrestling works the way it works, because the jobbers do their fucking job, which is to get you hyped up by the crowd, and then the jobber loses, and sometimes in the most unposthumous way. And the next thing you know, you rarely remember that jobber, but you remember that fucking match. And that's why I said most of the time the jobbers don't get the credit that they deserve. Now back to the topic at hand. No matter how much martial arts you take, at the end of the day, if you're not training, when you go to the dojo and come home and train some more, and you get your ass kicked because you only train at the dojo because you got brothers there, sisters there, people y'all spar every day, and then you go home but you don't train. You're a martial artist. You're just not a serious martial artist. What you put in is what you get back. And if you're not willing to do that, you're fucked. I'm what you call a second nature martial artist. Martial arts, I've been doing this for so goddamn long that some of my habits I'm still trying to break myself out of, where I would throw doom 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 and a kick, or I would throw 1-2 kick and then another hook. You know, these are things. If you watch my videos, you watch my patterns. Watch my patterns, I promise you, they rarely change. They rarely change. Even when I give lessons, they rarely change. But the question did you have to ask yourself, and I want to end the video here. I'm going to end the video here. The question you have to ask yourself, regardless of your belt, regardless of your rank, regardless of your weapons training, and if you don't have yes as an answer, or if the answer is maybe or I don't know. Maybe and I don't know is good because you're being honest with yourself. If the answer is yes, but you've never been in a fight, then you're lying to yourself. If the answer is yes and you've been in enough fights to know, yeah, I actually can use this shit, then you're like me. Because I've been in enough fights where I know I can use this shit. I've had witnesses watch me beat people's ass that were way bigger than me. I've had witnesses watch me beat 2 people at the same time. And technically it was only one guy, but he seen me handle it, you know. And then I do have witnesses that actually have seen me beat 4 people at the same time. But again, you know, I was 15. I'm fucking almost 50 now. So I can still throw down. It's just gonna be a little bit. I gotta speed this fight up, you know, because I'm old. I got good cardio, but youth and ambition, man. I got age and experience, and you have to utilize your skills. So again, if you're taking martial arts and you're paying out the ass for that shit, and your teacher doesn't let you fight for your belts, which is their prerogative, they don't have to let you fight for your belts, but you gotta ask yourself when you leave that dojo, can I fight or do I just have this belt? Because you can have a belt regardless of rank and still get your ass kicked by somebody who can fight and has a white belt or a yellow belt. Don't let the belt rankings fool you. Just because somebody has a high belt does not mean they can beat your ass. It just means they worked really hard in that dojo. But in real life, when you leave that dojo with that black belt, regardless if it's a 5th degree, 7th degree, you have to ask yourself, can I fight? And if your answer is I don't know, well, don't fuck around and find out, because it's better to know than to not know. But in the event that you fuck around and find out that you can't fight, you heard it from me first. This is again why I send warnings, not invitations. I don't want to fight anybody because I'm old, but if I have to fight you, I'm not fighting you for a victory. I'm fighting to end you. I'm going to hurt you bad enough so that you'll know. Don't go fucking with Echo. I'm not going to fuck with him no more. If I walk away from this fight and I'm all intact and I can still wiggle my fingers and my toes, I did good. He only hit me in the face once or twice, maybe broke a tooth, maybe busted a lip. But if I gotta crawl home on my chin because it's the only thing that's functioning, Echo done fucked me up. And I have every intention on every fight that I'm in to fuck people shit up. I'm too old to play games, and I know that I can fight. And that is the difference maker between a person who thinks they can fight and a person who knows they can fight. Now, just because I know I can fight doesn't mean I can beat everybody. Doesn't mean I have to. Because I also know a secret that most people who can fight don't know or aren't willing to go down that route. I don't have to beat you to kill you. And if it's you and me, and you are beating my ass to the point where I've got to use lethal ordnance, then so be it. And I'm going to have to use lethal ordnance. Now did you know? Thank you for watching. I'm Echo from Grey Wolf. Brace yourself. Here comes Echo.